Okay, so in the last video I showed you how we can add a channel, how you can add a model, a GLB file to your channel. Now let me show you real quick how you can edit that file. So let's open up my channel again. I'm going to go to the new menu as well, or again, and you'll see I have a button down here called Edit Channel Models. And what this does is it'll fire up a little window for us. These are all the models that have been added to my channel. You can see I have a gearbox, a beveled gear, and a barrel cactus. Now, what we can edit right now, we plan on extending on this as we get more and more things, but what we can do right now is we can change, well, let's talk through the things we can change. Let's go to our beveled gear and take a look at it. So the first thing we can do is we can just view the model. This is a nice little way to just kind of review what the model looks like, take a look at it. We can peel things apart, and just get an idea of how this thing looks and feels in the in our player. If you want to restore the scene, you can do that. We're going to add more and more functionality to this over time, ways to like change the background, ways to adjust the materials and stuff. But for right now, this is just a way for you to inspect the model. All right, now I'm going to go back. The next thing we can do is if I drop this drop down, we can edit the metadata. So if I come in here, one thing we can do, if you remember, we can set the default position. Let's say we want this to look more like this for the default position. So we can set this to be the default position, like that. I can rename, and if I don't like the name, let's say I call this beveled gear with colors. I don't know, something like that. A colored, a dissectable model of a series of beveled gears with different colors. I don't know, something like that. Also, this is a really neat, this is a new feature we have, is you can archive a model. And what that does is it kind of like, it's like a soft delete. It takes it away from the list. You can still get to it, but let me just go ahead and archive this model. And might as well show you that we can change the thumbnail by clicking this. So whatever we're seeing here, we can set that as the thumbnail like that. And there we go. So now I'm going to hit save. It's going to update everything out to the to our API. And now you can see this has an archive flag. So if I were to toggle this, it'll let you see, it'll actually remove it from the list. So it doesn't show up anymore. The model still exists. We don't actually delete it, but it just kind of like puts it away. So you can't see it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and unarchive this model because I don't want it archived. I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save like that. And now it is back to the unarchived list. We do have the way to search. So if you want to search for a cactus, for example, you can see we get the barrel cactus. And you can also search for archived models. I don't have any archived cacti. So I'm going to take that off, clear that. All right, what else can you do? So another thing you can do is you can edit the object data. So let me come into here. And, you know, I'm not sure which one of these. Let's say I wanted to rename the bearing ring to just be a bearing. All right, so I'm going to come in here now. Oh, actually, I see some errors. Let me undo that. I want to put a space in here. These, you know, these are wrong. They should have this should be bearing space case. So any other ball bearings? All right, I'm going to go ahead and save that. It's going to write that data back out to the API and store it. Another feature we can do is we can upload the master file. So when an artist creates these models, a lot of time, most of the time, they're using something like Blender or maybe 3D Max, something like that. And the artists end up with a whole bunch of files and textures and Photoshop things. And over time, those can get lost or you know, we have different versions of them, stuff like that. So what we wanted to do was create a way to associate the files that were used to create this beveled gear with this beveled gear, because all we're storing is what's called the GLB file. And that's kind of like you can't edit a GLB very well. There's some tools you can do, but it's not great. So you can also, the artist or who created the model, they can upload a zip file. They can take all their files that they use to create this model, zip it into a file, and stick it out here for safekeeping. And then, well, let's just show you what that looks like. I don't actually have the master files, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a zip file, just a random zip file I have on my computer. Let me find one real quick. Here we go. This is, I think, a file we're going to stick out there. And now, if I refresh, I think we have to do a refresh. There's a little bit of a bug right here, but let me refresh this guy real quick. What you'll see is that master file, or the beveled gear, now has a master file. So that zip file has been stored out into the cloud and can be retrieved later. So now let's say 2 weeks later, I want to change this. Maybe I want to adjust the materials, add a gear, change a name, I don't know, something. As a modeler, as the artist, I can come over here and I can click download file and download the master file, and it'll pull down that master file for me, and I can start with that master file to create something to improve this model or something. All right, so that is how you can edit a model. One thing to note right now, as of today, we do not let you replace the GLB file. That opens up some issues that we will still need to handle, and we're just not quite ready to handle those issues yet. So let's say you wanted to do a new GLB file that's like improved. Maybe we would take the colors off. The recommended approach is to archive this version and then re-upload the new one, and then start using that in your activities. All right, that's it.